The United Nations Security Council is tomorrow set to meet over the crisis in that nation. The meeting, which was called for by France, follows months of turmoil following the re-election of President Pierre Nkurunziza. The meeting will come just a day after the expiry of an ultimatum by the president that has raised international alarm. Already, hundreds of people have fled their homes for fear of a violent crackdown, while reports indicate that 7 people were shot dead last night, moments after the expiry of the ultimatum. A Human Rights Watch group is warning that dark days lie ahead for Burundi. So could the country be sliding back into war as the international community watches?
Since April, when Burundian President Pierre Nkurunziza announced he was running for a controversial third term by changing the constitution, unrest has gripped Burundi with street protests, killings, and people fleeing their homes. The crisis further intensified following Nkurunziza's controversial re-election in July. And now, analysts warn that Burundi could be staring at a civil war. A statement by the president a week ago has sent shivers. The November 1st warning gave a 7-day ultimatum to criminals to lay down arms, failure to which the police would soon go to work. The president asked district heads to identify elements which are not in order. It is the wordings of the ultimatum that have caused concern. The term work was a euphemism used in Rwanda before the 1994 genocide to describe mass killings. At least 800,000 people, mainly Tutsis, were killed by Hutu militias. Following the expiry of the ultimatum on Saturday night, there are fears that work could already have started. Reports indicate that at least 7 people were killed and several others wounded during an attack by people wearing police uniforms on a bar in an opposition neighborhood in Bujumbura on Saturday night. Rwandan President Paul Kagame has accused Burundian leaders of carrying out massacres following the killings. Hundreds of families are fleeing their homes in Bujumbura for fear of a violent crackdown following the expiry of the ultimatum, in a move seen as an attempt to stamp out those opposed to Nkurunziza's regime. Since the arrest began, at least 200 people have been killed and close to 200,000 have fled the country, raising fears that Burundi could slide back into war. The country knows war all too well. At least 300,000 people were killed during the Burundian civil war that lasted from 1993 to 2005. The Burundian Foreign Minister Alain Nyamwitu has said the conflict in Burundi has no ethnic tone. There is no trend in Burundi that indicates that the country is heading to genocide in the scale or in the nature of what happened in Rwanda, said Nyamwitu. The United Nations has condemned what it terms as inflammatory rhetoric. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, in a statement on Friday, said the discovery of bodies, many apparently summarily executed, has become a regular occurrence in Burundi's capital. The crisis has seen many independent media outlets shut down, and journalists have fled the country or gone into hiding. Just over 6 months since the conflict began, there has been little intervention from the international community. The regional bloc, the East African Community, in July held an emergency session on Burundi, but that was even before the elections. The African Union last month announced it would launch investigations into human rights violations in Burundi. Will Burundi slide back into war as the world watches? Many are hoping that the turmoil will act as a wake-up call for intervention to save Burundi before it's too late. Rita Tinina, KTN News.